Hey everybody, this is Jack Acid bringing you episode 9 of the I Am No Expert series, chronicling the first season of career mode in F1 2011. And as you can see, I'm starting off with Force India, as you probably know by now. I have actually received a contract extension offer, but I am holding out to see if maybe there's another team that I might want to make a jump to, hoping maybe I could look at Toro Rosso or someone like that. Might not actually be a bad thing to stay with Force India for one more year. This is a mid-tier car, at least by 2011 standards. They've slipped just a little bit in 2012. Team Expectation 5th. That's coming off my first podium in Valencia, so that's the explanation for that. Taking a quick look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton on pole position. There I am in P11. Don't typically race that well at Silverstone, and my teammate Adrian Sutil in 17th place. And just in front of Adrian, Michael Schumacher qualifying 16th, so I'm not sure what happened to him in qualifying, but it seems as though something happened because Rosberg was in the top 10. But perhaps that could be a blessing in disguise for the 7-time world champ. I've actually been keeping track of the AI average qualifying and finishing position changes, their plus minus, and Michael Schumacher right now is ranked dead last at a 5.38, and what that means is that he loses on average just over 5 positions per race so far. So the fact that he's qualifying 16th probably means that he'll be able to bump that up, but of course that really doesn't do anything to help him in the way of points, so small consolation prize, I suppose. And if you're interested in seeing all those rankings, you can find them on my website, ApexHead.com. And as you may have just noticed, I went ahead and started on the prime tires, that tricky 11th position qualifying. I just can't help myself. I want to start on the fresh tires. I know that they're slower, but it has worked to my advantage at times throughout the season, and I believe it was also my strategy in Valencia, although I could be wrong on that. And it did me a lot of good, so we'll see if it does anything to help me here. And competing now with the Saubers. This is a really tricky corner. Oh, slight contact with Perez. He hits the barriers, or I'm not sure what he hit. I think there was just pylons, but you probably saw his car kind of wiggle, almost like he collided with a pole or something. But able to get around him, and there was no warning from the stewards. So now trying to get ahead of Weber here in these tricky first corners. And yes, able to get ahead of Weber, but you can hear the engineer scalding me for it being aggressive. I didn't notice contact, but it is possible. And for some reason, they changed the start-finish line on the track this year. It's the exact same configuration as last year, but they changed the start-finish line, and for some reason it just throws me off. It's almost like my muscle memory is not used to it. The start-finish last year was right here, and so that's kind of what I had been built up and used to, and had a hard time adjusting to this track. I'm very, very slow through that little corner there, and you can see now I'm being swarmed by both Weber, and I'm not sure who's next to him, but I am feeling a lot of heat here. And it could be me warming up to the track, or it could just be that my pace is just not very good, but I can tell that it's going to be very, very difficult to get into that 5 spot. And you can see now Weber is getting ahead of me. Let's see if I can get him at the brake point without any contact. Oh, almost take off my wing. I braked just in time, and there was slight contact, and now Weber not giving me an inch, and I'm not backing down either. And we're almost taking each other off, but you can see here at this last chicane, just before we come around to the end of the lap, that I am able to get ahead of him, and he did fall back. So Weber and I have already taken the gloves off, and it's just lap 1. Well, actually just the start of lap 2. So let's go ahead and skip forward, still competing for 6th position here in lap 2. And again, that's where I've, for some reason, very, very slow through there. I'm not sure if I had known my shift assignment or what gear I was supposed to be in, and these sweeps were also taking me quite a while to learn. So it was a little bit hot and cold. You can see I hit a purple sector time, but here we come back to that long straight, and this is where Weber has got the measure of me. And he's not alone. Looks like he's brought a friend. I'm going to suspect, oh, it's a Lotus, excuse me, a Renault. Looks like Heidfeld there, and Weber is able to get by me there finally, and now I'm fending off Heidfeld. And hopefully there's no accident here. Slow down just in time, wheel to wheel with Weber around the chicane. I did not give him much room to get around there, but he backs off yet again, and I'm able to maintain P6, so he will probably be running down to my garage at the end of the race to give me a few words. And you'll note that this is a battle for 7th, but yet when the clip starts I'm in P6, and in just a moment you're going to see why. Again, I'm very slow through this little corner sweep here, and Weber able to get in front of me. We make slight contact there, but able to fend off Heidfeld and not let him get the better of me, and now I'm just losing my concentration really bad. You can see I'm all over the track, I'm missing the lines, and that's going to give Heidfeld an opportunity here on the outside. And let's see how these cars compete down the straight, and you can see we have company yet again, and that's Rosberg in the Mercedes. And you can see I go a little wide there, but at least I don't hit Heidfeld, and I should be able to get him here at the braking point. Yes, he's very slow there, and you can see that I brake too late and able to stay ahead. So there we are, falling back a position, but at least maintaining P7 for the time being. And I'm now 2 positions out of where the team had hoped that I'd finish, and most likely going to be an uphill climb, I can tell just by the sheer pace of the cars right now. So you can see here in lap 4 I go very wide, and you remember this is the series of sweeps that I was having a problem with, and that is going to let Heidfeld by. And now this is a familiar scene, chasing Heidfeld down the main straight with Rosberg now making a move on the inside. And let's see if I can move inside of Heidfeld. Very close, but yes, able to pass him cleanly. And if I didn't get him there, I might have gotten him here, just like the last time around. So with that little scare out of the way, we'll see how the order shakes out now that a number of cars are going into pit. I'm currently running P7, and we'll get up to P4 as a result of those pit stops, and a number of cars run, including my teammate. So now skipping ahead to lap 5 versus Rosberg, and where I've been slow all along, Rosberg just swoops right in and takes that place for me. And you can see I almost miss a gear there, and now I've got Sergio Perez in the Sauber right behind me, and I'm basically just trying to maintain my pace through here, and we'll see if maybe we can keep up with Rosberg and catch him at the end of the lap, although judging by how far he is right now, that might be difficult, might have to wait. I don't believe Rosberg's gone into pit, so that could be to my advantage. We're nearing the pit lane, and we'll see if he goes in. And yes, he goes in, so I'm able to get that position back. So now let's take a look at the pit stop and see how well the team does under pressure here. And I'm running P1, but that's only because the leaders had to pit in front of me. We'll see how well the team does here with a virtually empty pit lane. Just over 4 seconds, so not too bad, but I would expect a little bit better. And Silverstone's pit lane is incredibly long. It takes a very long time to get through it. You can hear the leaders flying by me. There was pretty much no opportunity for me to stay ahead of them. Go ahead and turn my fuel mix back to standard. And so now we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to my fastest lap of the race, which was lap 8, which ironically included an incident with Rosberg. You can see right now the Mercedes is right up on my gearbox. And staying true to my formula with rare exception, here it is lap 8. Lap 9, lap 10, somewhere around there. That's usually when I'm at my quickest. And it mostly has to do with fuel mix, but also I'm usually feeling pretty comfortable after, I would say, a dozen or so laps, or at least more comfortable. And there's no question that Rosberg wants to take a run at me on this long straight. We'll see if he's got the pace. He's coming up very quickly. You can see him there and just screaming by on the inside. I'm going to try and outbrake him. I start to cut on the inside and actually take a pretty good line, and what you don't see there is that Rosberg was actually spun out by me. And I didn't even realize that until after the race. You can actually see that in the highlights. So sort of an unfortunate racing incident. Certainly didn't mean to do that, but I was trying to maintain my line, and it was a pretty clean turn all in all. So sorry about that, Nico, but it's probably okay that he doesn't win this race since it isn't China. Is that mean of me? Alright, now let's take a look and see. Oh, you can see I do a little bit of chicane cutting there. This is my fastest lap, so I'm a little curious how I handled these sweeps, and honestly, not that great. Now, I did handle some earlier corners better than usual, but I think this is mostly due to a lower fuel load. So now we're going to have to try and fend off Maldonado. We've got just over 2 laps to go. And even though I'm not going to get P5, which is what the team had hoped for, I would like to at least keep this 7th spot. And my tires are holding up pretty well, so hopefully they can maintain some grip for the last 2 laps of the race. But we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to go ahead and skip to near the end of the last lap, but first we've got a little duel with Maldonado to deal with. And you can see these are the sweeps that I've been having off and on problems with, but right now I'm taking it pretty easy, Just trying to stay in front of the Williams car now. And this long straight is usually where they have an opportunity to get ahead of me, but Maldonado is not faster than me, so as long as I can keep it between the candy stripes, I should be able to hang on to this position. And we've got this last chicane to get through, which is very easy to go brake late on, but able to handle it reasonably well there, and there we have it. So coming off of my first podium, back to 7th, still not bad. I know the team expected better, but I'll take it, especially under the circumstances where my car was really struggling with pace, honestly. So let's have a look at the final results. Jenson Button wins the race, and Ferrari right behind, so Red Bull finally knocked out of the podium there. And Michael Schumacher able to get the last of the points there, or point I should say, in P10. So as I suspected at the beginning of the race, he had an opportunity to have a better result than his qualifying position, which was relatively poor. And who knows, maybe the law of averages will be starting to creep back into his favor. But we won't have answers for that until the next episode in Germany at the Nürburgring, so I will hope to see you guys there. And until then, I'll leave you guys with some race highlights, which of course includes the Rosberg spin-out. All in all, not a very pretty race, a lot of contact with other cars, which is unusual for me. And I'm not sure if it's, it could be because I'm using cockpit view and you just don't have the same peripheral vision as you would with TV pod, so something I'm going to be working on and hoping to get better at. Because if there's one thing that you can count on in this game, it's that there's always room for improvement, which is, of course, one of the main reasons that keeps me coming back to it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.